Hello and welcome to Mary Beth Yoga. Let's begin by taking a few deep breaths together. Bringing calm to the body and landing in this space that we're in together. I invite you to do some alternate nostril breathing. We'll block our right nostril with our thumb, inhale through the left. Block the left nostril with your pointer or fourth finger and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Hold. Block the right with your thumb, exhale through your left. Inhale through the left. Hold. Block the left and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Hold. Block the right, exhale through the left. Let's do a few more rounds of this at your own pace. One more. Now let's continue in our easy seat and bring our hands to the ground. Bring your left hand up. Inhale, exhale over to the right. Inhale back up to center. Left hand down, bring up your right. And exhale over. Inhale to center. And exhale over. Inhale to center. And exhale over. Let's do a few more of these in your own pace. Now let's move to tabletop. We're going to move into some cat-cows. So first you want to make sure your arms are over your wrist, your knees are below your hips. We're going to inhale, drop the belly, look up for cow, and exhale, round the back, drop the pelvis for cat. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Do a few more rounds at your own pace. Inhaling as you look up and drop the belly. And exhaling as you round the spine. Feel your shoulder blades drop to the sides. Now back to tabletop. We're going to push up into downward facing dog. So you're going to curl your toes under. Drop your heels, lift your hips up and back. Legs can straighten or knees can stay bent. Coming into a upside down V shape here. Now you're going to lift your right foot up into three-legged dog. Then we're going to bend your knee and bring your knee into your right tricep. Back up into three-legged dog. Then bring your knee across your body to your left elbow. Back up, three-legged dog. Then curl your knee all the way to the front of your mat, bringing your foot to rest and coming into a low lunge. We're going to center ourselves here. And then we're going to twist. So we're going to bring your left hand down. Your right hand is going to come up towards the sky or the ceiling, twisting your body, opening your chest. Few breaths in here. Then back down into your lunge. Now bring your left foot up to meet your right. We're going to do a standing bend. Before we bring our arms all the way up, looking up towards the sky. Now swan dive forward into a forward bend. Halfway lift. Now we're going to ground your hands down, step your feet all the way back, and we're going to just lower all the way down to your belly. And then gently lift your chest up, not crunching into your lower back, not pushing up with your hands, but just gently lifting your chest up before pushing down, back down into your downward facing dog. Now we're going to do that same thing on the left. So first lift your left leg up, bend your knee, bringing it to your left elbow, back up. Now across the body to the right elbow. Back up. Bringing it forward into your low lunge now with your left foot forward. Into that twist, bring your right hand by your left foot and lift your left arm up towards the sky. Your gaze can be forward or it can be before you bring your hand back down and step your right foot up to meet the left. Now let's flow again. Arms up. Swan dive forward. Halfway lift. Hands planted on the mat, feet go back. Now this time you can either lower all the way down to your belly or you can move into a chaturanga with elbows bent to 90 degrees. And then either low cobra again or up into upward facing dog. Push back into downward facing dog. Bring your right foot up again into low lunge. Now we're going to move into warrior two. So to do that, first we're going to take a few breaths here. We're going to do about 3 breaths per movement with this flow. So for warrior two, anchor your left heel back. Your toes are pointed towards the top left corner. Your front knee is bent about 90 degrees. You're going to cartwheel your arms up, open your hips, and don't let that front knee go past your toes. And this is warrior two. Your gaze can be over the front hand. See how your arms feel, if they're lifted equally, your back arm aligned with your front. Now moving into triangle pose, we're going to straighten the front leg. Tilt your back hip towards the back of the room before reaching forward with your right hand. Then we're going to drop the right hand down towards the ankle or the floor, maybe your calf. Next, we're going to lift the left hand up and maybe turn your gaze upward. Now moving into humble warrior, we're going to bend that front knee again and move through warrior two. Then bring your left arm back towards your knee or the calf. Lift your right hand towards the sky, or even leaving it back a bit towards the back of the room. Now moving into extended side angle. Come back up again, bend that front knee. Bring your right elbow towards the right knee. You're going to have it like you've got something in your hand with your palm facing up. And then bring your left hand up towards the ceiling, or feeling a nice stretch along the left side of your body over your head. Now we're going to move back into that twist. What I'm going to have you do is drop your left hand down, rotate your body, your heel comes up, you're moving through the lunge, and then twisting to bring your right hand back up towards the sky. Drop your right hand down. Let's bring your left foot up to meet the right. Forward fold. Roll all the way up. Arms up towards the sky before swan diving forward. Hands to the mat. You can move down to chaturanga, upward dog or low cobra, and downward dog. We're going to repeat this on the left. Have our left foot come up into the low lunge. Take a few breaths here. You can feel the stretch along your right hip flexors and quadriceps. Now, anchor that right heel down. Again, toes pointed towards the top right corner of the mat. Left knee about at 90 degrees. Windmill the arms up and open. Turning your gaze towards the front of the room. Now moving into triangle here, we're going to straighten that front edge again. First, push your hips towards the back before reaching forward with your left hand, dropping that left arm down, lifting the right arm up, opening the chest, maybe looking up towards the sky or the ceiling. Coming into humble warrior, front knee bends, left arm comes up, right arm back. Extended side angle, again front knee bent, left elbow coming to left knee, right arm coming up, maybe coming over towards the front, chest is open. Now moving through lunge into that twist. Left arm up, right arm by your left foot. Before bringing your left hand down, stepping the feet together, finding a halfway lift for a deep forward fold. Again, arms up towards the sky, maybe a little back bend here. Dive forward. We're going to move through a vinyasa before we take one breath per movement. We're going to flow through that same series, trying for one breath per movement. So first, let's inhale. We're going to inhale your right knee up into the low lunge. Exhale into warrior two. Inhale into triangle. Exhale into humble warrior. Inhale into the extended side angle, and exhale through your twist. Inhale, forward fold. Take an exhale here. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. On the left, inhale, low lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, triangle. Exhale, humble warrior. Inhale, extended side angle. Exhale, twist. Inhale, forward fold, and take another exhale here. Roll all the way up. We're going to come into mountain pose or Tadasana. Now we're going to do a bit of balancing. So we're going to do tree. So we're going to start, after taking a few deep breaths, by grounding your left foot into the ground. Try to feel both sides of the ball of your foot and also anchoring through the heel. Bringing your weight into that left leg, left foot. We're going to bring your right foot up, and you can put it either here at your thigh. You can have it lower down at your ankle. Just don't put it on your knee. You can either bring your arms together here in prayer pose, or they can go up or out. We're going to take about 5 breaths here. Now let's come back through Tadasana and Tadasana. Your feet are centered, your shoulders are back, your palms are facing forward. Now doing that same thing with your right leg grounded down, feeling both sides of the ball of your foot grounding down through the heel, both edges of the heel. Bring your weight into that right foot. Bringing your left foot up either to your thigh, to your ankle, just not on the knee. And do about 5 breaths here as the train goes by. Again, you can bring your foot here. Just not on your knee. more breaths here. All right, back into Tadasana, and then we're going to come again to the front end of our mat. We have one more flow we're going to do before we get into our peak pose. So bring your arms up. We're going to flow through that vinyasa. Bring your arms down, feet to the back edge of the mat. Chaturanga, or lowering to your belly. Upward facing dog or cobra. Push into down dog. Now we're going to do a lizard pose. So rather than bringing your foot between your hands like we did with a low lunge, we're going to bring your right foot to the outside edge of your right hand. So bring it up to the corner of your mat, and you're going to feel a really deep stretch in the front of your left leg and then in your right hip. You can keep your knee up here if you'd like. You could bring it down and then lower the toes. That's another option. I'm going to keep mine up for now. Let's take a few breaths here in lizard. And now I will have you drop your knee if it hasn't been. Go ahead and lay your foot flat. We're going to move into a corkscrew pose. So to do this, you're going to bend your back knee, bringing your foot up. Reach your right hand up and over, grasping the outside edge of that back foot, your left foot. Take a few breaths here. You're feeling a really deep stretch along the front part, the quads of your left leg. Next, you can release your left foot. We're going to move into a side plank. So curl those toes under, step your right foot back, put the outside edge of your left foot flush against the ground. Keep your hips high if possible, and then reach your right arm up towards the ceiling or the sky. Before we bring our hand back down and move back into downward facing dog here. So now we're going to do that same thing on the left. Bring your left foot up into lizard, so bringing it to the outside edge of your left hand. And just feel your body settle into this pose for a few moments, a few breaths. Feeling that really deep stretch along the front of your right hip, your right thigh. And again, feel free to lower your knees down here if you'd like to do that. And now I'll have you go ahead and lower your knee if you haven't already. Bring that right foot up. Left hand comes up and over, grasping the outside edge of the right foot. So you're getting a chest opener here as you bring your chest and your gaze upward, along with a really deep stretch in the front of your quad. And take just a few breaths here before we bring our left hand back down. Bring your left foot to meet the right. Put that knife edge of your right foot down. Hips come up. Left hand comes up into our side plank here. And then bring our left hand down. So we're going to come back into downward dog. Now we're going to move into our peak pose today, which is the sleeping pigeon pose. So I invite you to lift your right foot up into three-legged dog. Then we're going to bend our back knee and swing our right foot up so that your left ankle is behind your left hand. And with this pose, the more you bring your right leg, your front leg, in parallel to the front edge of your mat, the more challenging this pose is going to be. So feel free to bring your left foot more towards your hip if that makes it a little bit easier to settle in. You can inch your right foot forward if you'd like for a deeper stretch. Inch your left toes back. Make sure that your left leg is straight behind you. Your knee is, facing down towards the mat. We're just going to settle in here. So first, we're going to start upright with the back straight. Your gaze can come up. Feeling a release deep in your right hip. If your right hip doesn't come all the way towards the ground, this is a pose where you might want to put a blanket in for padding, just to make it a bit more comfortable. And then we're going to stretch our arms forward. So you can first bring your elbows down to the ground, and feel free to stay here, or you can bring your head all the way down. I'm going to stay here for about 5 to 8 breaths. Slowly lift back up again. We're going to move back down into downward facing dog. So curl your toes under. Bring your right leg back. Hips come up. Now we're going to bring your left foot up towards the sky. And three-legged dog before bringing it forward. Finding that same position that we did previously. So now your left leg is coming either in parallel to the front edge of your mat or back towards your hip, whichever is more comfortable for you today. You're making sure that your right leg is extended back behind you, your knees facing the ground, and having centered on your mat, looking forward, straight ahead of you, perhaps gazing up. Before we release down to our elbows or all the way towards the floor. Once you feel you're in a comfortable position, take about 5 to 8 breaths here. And gently lift yourself back up again before we move back down into down dog. Now we're going to drop our knees down. We're going to come into camel pose. So first we'll do one side and the other before we bring ourselves into the full camel. So let's start. Your knees are about in line with your hips. Your legs, your feet are pointed back towards the back edge of your mat. And you're gonna put your hands as if you were putting them in back pockets. Inhale, your chest opens towards the front, towards the ceiling. Let's bring your right arm up. Before we lean back, your right arm comes back and finds your right heel. Come back up, and then we're going to do that same thing on your left. So left hand comes up, back over, finding your left heel. So your hips, your pelvis are pointed upwards, your chest is open. We'll come back up. If it's too challenging with your feet flat on the ground, you could curl your toes under because that'll bring your heels up a couple of inches. So now we're going to do both sides together. So right arm comes up and back, left arm up and back, finding your heels, opening your chest, dropping your head back. I'll take a few breaths here. Gently bring yourself back up, and then we're going to come into a child's pose. So your knees can be together or apart. And arms can be out in front of you, or you can drag them down and have them by your heels. A few breaths here. If your arms are back, you can feel your shoulder blades dropping away from your spine. A nice forward fold in your lower back. Now we'll come up. We're going to move into boat pose. So roll over your legs into an easy seat. Now bring your feet flat on the ground in front of you. Your hands are going to be to your lower legs. Then you're going to lean back, lift your legs parallel to the floor. You can keep your hands here on your legs, or you could extend your palms up and your arms out. Let's stay here for about 3 breaths. Feeling the strength in your core. And come back into an easy seat. And let's do that one more time. So heels flat, then up, arms extended, firming through your abs. And then back down. So let's move into a happy baby. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay on our backs. Bring your knees on either side of your hips. Your feet come up. You can grab the outside or the inside of your feet, the arches of your feet. You can rock back and forth, feeling a nice massage along your back. And take a few breaths here. Before you bring your knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice hug here. Then keep your right knee in, extend your left leg down. We're going to do a reclined twist here. So keeping your knee up towards your chest, you can bring it over your body, over to the left side. Extend the left arm out. Your right arm can come up and over, and turn your gaze over towards the right. Let's take about 5 breaths here. Come back up to center. Hug both knees in. then extend. So right leg down, your left knee comes over towards the right of your body, left arm goes out. And gaze extends back towards the left. And 5 breaths here. Now once more, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug before moving into Shavasana. So your legs extend all the way, feet can drop out, palms by your sides, hands by your sides with your palms up. We're going to settle into this pose and just allow everything that you move through your body to come back to center. We'll stay here about a minute together, though. Feel free to stay here as long as you like. Now bring some small movements back to your fingers and your toes. Bringing yourself back into your body. You can roll over to one side, curl up in a little fetal position for a moment before sitting back up. Thank you for taking this time for yourself. Namaste.